Hi everyone, my name's Julia and I'm a physical therapist. I'm here today with a lower body superset strength workout. This workout is going to include your warm-up. We're going to have a superset strength portion, which means we'll do groups of 2 exercises alternating back and forth between exercises that'll work slightly different muscle groups, and then we'll finish with a cool down stretch. So if you're ready for a big leg burn, turn on your music or whatever helps get you motivated, and let's get going. We're going to start off with our warm-up here. So the first exercise we're going to do is a high knee march. Just kind of get the blood flowing, so lift those knees up. The goals of the warm-up are to increase your heart rate, maybe start getting you sweating a little bit, and then also to prepare your muscles for all the movements and exercises we're about to do. So you really want to make sure you get a good warm-up in before any workout. Otherwise you're just kind of blasting your muscles with a big surprise, and they don't like that. So let's march those knees up here. Our next one is going to be a quad stretch and heel raise. So grab your ankle and get up on your toe. This is a little bit of balance, a little bit of a dynamic stretch here. Don't like to do long holding stretches before a workout. Save those for after a workout. So right now we're all about prepping our body for doing some exercise. Stay up nice and tall, heel to butt. Next one's going to be a Frankenstein. So keep your leg straight, back and knees straight. Kick up as high as you can, and then scuff down. So if you can only kick kind of low while keeping your back straight, that's fine. You should feel a stretch in the hamstring as you kick up, and kind of use your hamstrings and glutes to pull your leg down here. Next one is going to be open and close the gate. You're going to open and close the gate, open, close the gate, getting into that hip mobility there. Then if you want, we can add a little speed and a little bounce to this exercise. Start getting that heart rate up. Next one is going to be a Cossack squat, side lunge. I'm going to get really deep into that range of motion. So you're going to get into that side lunge pretty much as far down as you can get. And then to the other side, you can trail your fingers on the ground to help you. Make sure your heel stays on the ground. So get as deep into this as you can with your heel staying on the ground here. So you might be up here. That's totally fine. Just do as much as you can. Next one is going to be also down on the ground, lizard lunge and rotation. So bring one knee forward, rotate up towards that knee, and switch. I call this a lizard lunge or a Spider-Man lunge, whichever. Getting a nice hip stretch, some rotation through that upper back. Our next one, we're going to come up into butt kickers. So we're starting to get the cardio on here. If you need to keep it low impact, you can just do a walking butt kicker. Get those heels up to your butt. Our last one is going to be a power skip. So step back and then up. If you need to keep it low impact, you can just do kind of a mini lunge to a heel raise. But if you can, try and launch all the way into that power skip. Get a little power in those legs. Really get that heart rate up. Excellent. All right. So you can see I'm breathing a little harder. I'm sweating a little bit. So that means we had a successful warm-up. So we're going to get right into this, right into the strength portion. We're going to go superset style. We have 4 different groups of 2 exercises. We're going to go 45 seconds on, 15 seconds off, times 3 for each group. And then right at the end, We'll do 2 different single leg exercises, and we'll do 40 seconds on, 5 seconds off, 3 times each of those single leg exercises. So a little bit of a burnout round. So grab your weights if you have them, get some water if you need it, then come right back. We're going to start into that strength superset portion. Our first group of 2 exercises is going to be squats and RDLs. So we'll get my timer going. Grab your weights and start it up, starting with the squat. So inhale down, exhale up, feet shoulder width apart, knees tracking over your feet. Initiate by pushing your hips back into a squat as if you're trying to sit on a chair behind you. Keep nice steady breathing here. Control the lowering and control the lift. If you have to start out with body weight, that's fine. Otherwise, choose a weight that's a good challenge for you by the end of 45 seconds. All right, take a quick break here. Shake out the legs if you need it. We're going to go right into those RDLs. So set it up, knees straight, but soft, unlocked, and hinge at the hips, start it up. You want to keep a neutral arch in your back here. You don't want to let your back round forward. Knees are soft but straight. And you're kind of folding in half, hinging at the hips, pushing your butt behind you to lower into that RDL. As soon as your back starts bending, then you've gone too far. So it's helpful to use a mirror to see how far you can get into that RDL. All right, take a break. We're going to go back into those squats. These are pretty quick transition periods, so if you need a little extra rest, no worries. Take whatever rest you need, and then get back into it. Here we go, squats. So push the hips back, and then stand all the way upright. Inhale down, exhale up. Keep it going, nice steady breathing. All right, going back to those RDLs. So really try and be really mindful of your back, keeping its neutral arch. Don't let yourself slump forward. Start it up. Inhale down, exhale up. It helps to kind of squeeze your shoulders back a little bit. That can help lock your back in place. As you go down, you should feel a little stretch in your hamstrings. And as you come up, you should feel your hamstrings and glutes really kicking in. Again, get yourself all the way vertical. Don't stop in the velociraptor or the T-Rex position. Get that end range extension out of those glutes. All right, we have one more set of those squats and one more set of those RDLs, and then that'll be it. So rack up the weights, get ready here, and start it up. You want to make sure your knees are tracking over your feet. So one helpful thing can be spread the ground between your feet. Try and spread the floor apart using your feet. And kind of corkscrew them into the ground, and that helps keep your knees from collapsing inwards. We don't want those knees to collapse inwards. Inhale down, Exhale up. Keep those knees nice and stable over the feet. All right, we have one more set of those RDLs, and then we'll be done with this first group of 2 exercises. So pin those shoulder blades back, start it up. Really push those hips back to initiate the RDL. Kind of like you're right up against the counter and you have to reach way across the counter. You kind of stick your hips back to counterbalance as you reach. Really get a nice active stretch in those hamstrings on the way down. And then those hamstrings are doing a lot of work to get you back up to standing. All right, great. So, put those weights down. We're going to be moving on to our next group of 2 exercises, which is going to be sumo squats and reverse lunges. So grab a weight that's right for you. I'm going to adjust my weights a little bit here. And we'll get it started. Just grab your weights. Actually, I am going to use this. So sumo squat, set up nice and wide. And lower between your wide feet. You want to go pretty much straight up and down. Keep your chest up. Still keep your weight in your heels. Your toes are pointed out slightly. The amount that your toes are pointed out depends on where your knees are going. You just want your knees to track over your feet. Inhale down, exhale up. All right, next one is reverse lunges. Whew. Until I'm breathing hard here. So we're gonna do a step back lunge or reverse lunge. I like to hold the weights at my sides. Start it up. Lower to about 90 degrees on both knees. Keeping your trunk upright, and then step forward. All the way back up to upright at the top. Inhale down, exhale up. Keep your weight in your front heel to avoid extra stress on the knee. And to make those glutes work a little harder. I'm all about the glutes. Ooh, quick break. And we're going back into those sumo squats. Rack up your weights, feet nice and wide. Start it up. Inhale down, exhale up. So really make sure your knees are tracking right over your feet. You don't want them to be going inside your feet or outside your feet. Keep your chest up. Steady breathing. I know it's not easy, but it's good for you. All right, quick break. We're going back into those reverse lunges. Woo! I've got sweat in my eyes. All right, here we go. Step back into the reverse lunge. And you want to make sure your front knee is nice and stable. You don't want it wobbling around everywhere. So really squeeze your glutes Keep your front heel corkscrewed into the ground, like you're trying to squish a bug under your front heel here. Step straight back, lower down with your trunk upright, and breathe. Keep it going. All right, we got one more set of those sumo squats and one more set of those reverse lunges. So rack your weights up for the sumo squats. Shape to the side. Start it up. So you can see with the sumo squat, you keep your chest a little bit more vertical than with a regular squat. Since your feet are wider, you lower down a little bit more between your feet, but you still initiate with a little hip hinge. Just a little different from the normal squat. Inhale down, exhale up. All right, we have one more set of those reverse lunges. So here we go. Just 45 more seconds, then we get a little break. Start it up. Try and get both knees bent to 90 degrees. You want to keep your weight pretty even in both legs. Chest up. Your torso should be vertical. Try not to lean forward too much. Nice long step back and lower into the lunge. Ooh, all right. Put those weights down and you've earned yourself a little water break. So grab some water, not too much. Don't sit down completely, keep those feet moving. And then we'll be right back for the next two groups of our superset strength here. Okay, so our next group of two exercises is going to be a lateral lunge and a curtsy lunge. Get my timer going. Grab your weights for the lateral lunge. And start it up. So hinge your hips back into a side squat, essentially. Feet pointing straight forward and nice and wide apart, much wider than hip width, probably about double hip width apart. And really push your hips back to initiate the lateral lunge. Again, keep your weight in your heels. Really fire up those glutes. Your chest is going to have to come forward and down a little bit to counterbalance your hips. That's fine. But again, you want to keep a nice neutral arch in your back. Don't let it slump forward as you lower. All right, I'm switching out my weights for the curtsy lunges. So we're going to step slightly back and behind us for the curtsy lunge. Start it up. I kind of like a curtsy, stepping back into the inside here. If your body really doesn't like this, you can do more of a straight reverse lunge. That's fine. You don't have to do a ton of curtsy, just as much as your body can tolerate. I always lighten my weights a little bit for this one, just because I find this movement a little harder than the reverse lunge. But I like training the lower body in all different planes, because most sports aren't played in one plane. So I like to strengthen in all directions. Switch those weights back for the lateral lunge. Feet nice and wide apart. Shoulders back. And initiate with that hip hinge. Inhale down. Exhale up. Come all the way up between each repetition. Nice steady breathing. Try and get your thigh parallel to the ground. Push all the way back up, upright. Initiate by pushing your butt behind you. All right, I'm going to switch my weights back for that curtsy lunge. Start over here, shove that this way. Start up, step back and behind, still keeping your trunk upright. Weight in your front heel. Very similar to a reverse lunge. Your back foot's just coming behind you a little bit. Inhale down, exhale up. Come all the way to vertical between each repetition. Good. All right. One more set for those lateral lunges. Grab your weights for that. Set up your feet nice and wide. Start it up. Inhale down. Exhale up. Keep it going. Really push those hips back into the lateral lunge, like you're trying to sit on a chair that's behind you, or maybe one chair that's behind each leg. Whew, all right. That's it for the lateral lunges. Got one more set of those curtsy lunges here, and that'll be it for this group. Start it up. Keep your chest up. Try and lower your trunk smoothly between both legs. Kind of straight up and down like an elevator. And try and keep that front knee stable. Don't let it wiggle too much. Inhale down. Exhale back up. Nice steady breathing. Keep the oxygen flowing to your muscles. All right, and that is it for that group. So now we're going on to our last group, which is going to be glute bridges. You can use weight with those if you want. And then double leg heel raises. So getting into those calves a little bit. So I'm going to use some weight. I'm going to start out with those glute bridges. If you want to use weight, you can just put a dumbbell across your hips, feet planted hip width apart, and lift those hips up towards the ceiling. And sometimes it helps to pick your toes up off the ground a little bit to really drive through your heel. You should really feel this in your glutes, in your butt, not so much in the hamstring, and you should feel it in your lower back should be tense, but you shouldn't feel like you're getting all your strength from your lower back. It should really be driven from the glutes here. Excellent. All right. And then when I come up for a heel raise, I'm going to grab my weights here. And start it up, just up on the toes, and then lower down to the ground. Try and control both directions. We're going to get a nice calf burn here. If you're like me and you get a little bit bored doing one direction, you can switch it up a little bit. You can do toes out for a few, and then do toes in for a few, just to mix it up a little bit. I like to add some variety. Like I said, I like training in all different planes of motion, so that includes the foot and the ankle. All right, back down to the ground for those glute bridges, and use that same weight here. So really push through those heels. Draw your core in gently and lift up your hips. So if you draw your belly button slightly towards your spine, not a huge abdominal flex, but just a slight core activation, that can help you keep your back straight and avoid overarching and overusing those lower back muscles. Also, I think driving through your heels can really help turn on the glutes. So exhale to lift, inhale lower. Exhale up, inhale down. Nice steady breathing throughout this exercise. All right. Going back to those heel raises. So grab your weights. Oh, I can already feel my calves burning. Start it up. So I'm going to go straight forward for 5. I'm going to go in for 5. And you don't have to do this. You can just keep going straight forward if you want. And then out for 5. I just like to mix it up a little bit. Gets a little bit, focuses on slightly different parts of the calf. And then back to the middle. And we'll go back to the inside, just for a couple here. All right, and then back down. We have one more set of these weighted glute bridges here. So get your weight, get your feet set up, and start it up. Lift up those hips towards the ceiling. You're trying to get in a pretty straight line from your knees to your shoulders here. So lightly activate your core, gently draw your belly button towards your spine. And use those glutes to push your hips up. Excellent. We have one more set of those heel raises. So grab your weights. And I think I'll start with outside this time. Start up. Go to the front, straight forward. Nice steady breathing here throughout this exercise. I'm going to face my toes in. And then go back to outside. And straight forward. All right, nice job. So you've earned yourself a second break. When we come back, we're going to switch to single leg exercises. So the intervals are going to change a little bit. But grab a quick sip of water and then come right back. Okay, so for these last two groups of exercises, it's going to be two different single leg exercises. So we're going to go through a single leg four-way squat and a single leg RDL. Each one will be its own group because we'll go left and right. We're doing 40 seconds on and 5 seconds off to transition to the other leg, 3 times through each exercise. So it's going to be quite a bit of a single leg burner here. So the first one is a single leg four-way squat. I'm just going to use one weight here. Get your weight on one leg, and so you're going to go forward with the lifted leg, to the side with the lifted leg, behind you with the lifted leg, and then behind and to the inside. So those are our 4 directions. So through it all, try to keep that standing knee pretty stable. And you might hear my knee clicking every time. It doesn't hurt, so I'm not worried about it. So just go 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. All right, quick transition to the other leg. So forward, side, push your hips back for each squat, back, and inside. Forward, and you definitely don't have to use weight on this. This is a good one to start body weight, and then you can gradually add weight as you're able. Inhale down, exhale up. All right, going back to your left leg or your first leg. Start it up. These are really quick transitions here because we're switching from leg to leg. So the rest period is when you're doing it on your opposite leg. If you miss a few seconds here and there, no worries. I know they're quick transitions. Just keep it going, steady as you can. All right, switch legs here. Keep that knee nice and stable. Tap down if you need to. Inhale down, exhale up. Nice steady breathing. Last one on the first leg. Woo, I'm wobbling all over the place. So you can tell as I get more fatigued, it gets a little harder. It's supposed to. It shouldn't be easy. You shouldn't be flailing everywhere, but a little wobble is okay. As you practice this more, you'll definitely get more steady and more stable. All right, last one on the other leg here, and we'll be moving on. So really sink those hips back as far as you can into that single leg squat. Nice steady breathing. Almost done here. Keep it up. Ooh, all right. Nice job. So now, get my timer here. We're going to move into our single leg RDLs. So I'm going to use 2 weights for this one. And start it up. So you want to keep your lifted leg in line with your trunk. And flex your foot. Really extend your heel behind you, like you're trying to kick down a door behind you. This is a really big core exercise, balance exercise, and because it's a single leg RDL, you're hitting those hamstrings and glutes on both legs. The lifted leg, your glute has to kick in to keep that leg straight. Go ahead and switch legs here. And on the standing leg, straight up. On the standing leg, you should feel that same similar stretch in the hamstrings as you lower, just like the double leg RDL. And then those hamstrings and glutes working to bring you back up to vertical. So make sure you get fully upright between each repetition. Inhale down, exhale up. Keep up the steady breathing. Keep your hips level. You don't want your hips to open up. Whew. Switch back to the other leg. So from the front here, you want your hips and shoulders nice and level. Don't let them open up. That's a different exercise. It's a good exercise, but it's just a different one than we're doing right now. So hinge forward at the hips. Again, how far you go down is determined by if your back starts flexing, then you're done. You've gone too far. So you can only go as far down as you can while keeping that neutral back and that lifted leg in line with your back. Go ahead and switch legs. Start it up. So really try and kick down that door behind you with your lifted heel. Extend through that back leg. Really lengthen from your head to your heel. Nice steady breathing here. Lots of balance work. Really ground down through that foot. If you need to tap down, that's fine. All right, we have one more set on each leg. Start it up. Extend from head to heel. Kick that door down behind you. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Keep that nice neutral arch in your spine. And come all the way to vertical between reps. You're almost there. Just a little bit longer. All right. Got one more set on that other leg and then we're done. Start it up. Feel the burn. My calves are definitely feeling the balance work. And those heel raises. Nice steady breathing here. Keep the core activated. It'll help with your balance. Keep those hips level. All right. Go ahead and put those weights down. And that is it. You've earned yourself one more water break, but then make sure you come right back because we're going to go into our cool down and stretch. Keep your feet moving after doing all that hard muscle work. You don't just want to sit down and stop moving completely. So keep your feet moving, grab some water, come right back for the cool down. Okay, so the cool down is important. After we did all that hard work on our muscles, we really want to make sure that we kind of stretch them out, let them relax a little bit. And then also something really beneficial to add at the end of this routine would be some foam rolling. So here we're just going to go 30 seconds each exercise, starting off with a standing hamstring stretch. So you're going to kick one leg out in front, hinge your hips back, just similar to an RDL, that hip hinge. Reach for your toe here and you should feel a stretch along the back of your hamstring. And breathe. So as you breathe, you should be able to sink a little bit more into the stretch. Go ahead and switch legs. Kick the other one out in front, hinge back. Really just get along all that hamstring and a little bit into the calf here too. Your next one's going to be a standing IT band and side stretch. So we'll get kind of down the side of that leg. So you're going to cross one foot in front and then lean over towards the foot that's in the back. You should feel a stretch down the side of your leg here. It sometimes helps to go onto the side of your foot, the one that's in the back. So flat-footed in front, on the side of your foot in the back. Just stretch all the way down the side of that leg. Let your head hang heavy here. Go ahead and switch. So cross your other foot in front, tip your other foot on its side, and lean towards the back foot. And you can kind of let your neck relax, shake your head yes and no. Our next one is going to be a downward dog. Get into those calves. Come on down to the ground. Get those hips nice and high, and then work those heels towards the ground. You can also kind of walk back and forth, stretching one calf more than the other calf more. And breathe. You can do it with your knees straight or bent. Alright, going into a pigeon quad stretch. So bring one knee forward, the other knee back, and then reach for your ankle behind you. If you lean forward more, you'll feel it more in the quad. And if you get yourself more upright, you'll feel it a little bit more in the hip flexor. So this is kind of a multi-joint stretch. One of your quad muscles, your rectus femoris, crosses your knee and your hip joint. So this is really targeting that muscle, as well as your hip flexors. Go ahead and switch. So I like to do kind of a combination. You can kind of come down, really get into the quad here, and be a little more upright, focusing on those hip flexors. Our next one is going to be a figure four glute stretch on our back. Supine figure four glute stretch. So go ahead and flip it over, cross your ankle over your opposite knee, flex your foot, and then pull your knee towards your chest. So flex your foot on this to feel a better stretch. Bring your toe towards your knee. And you should really feel this in the hip. We're stretching those glutes, piriformis, and breathe. Relax into the stretch. Go ahead and switch. So opposite ankle over your knee, flex your foot, pull your toes towards your knee, and breathe. Draw that knee towards your chest to really increase the stretch in that hip. The last stretch is going to be a butterfly stretch, or a frog stretch. So, shins parallel to each other, feet pointing out. Then you're going to lower and then rock back a little bit. You should really feel this on your inner thighs and into those hip sockets. So working on that hip internal rotation. Then you can kind of pulse in and out of it here if it's too much, just to stay there. All right. Walk your feet in, walk your knees in. And that is it. You just finished a pretty big lower body superset workout, so we really got the legs in all directions. Single leg, double leg, all sorts of things there. So hopefully, I know I'm going to be sore tomorrow, so hopefully you get a good muscle burn at that. One thing I'd really recommend is doing some foam rolling, because I really prefer foam rolling for muscle recovery and to reduce some soreness. So there's a video for that on this site as well, so go ahead and check that out. All right, thanks for joining me for that hard workout. See you next time.